So by being present, you've heard it before. It's just this idea of, hey, be in the moment, right? We're constantly told this in books and TV. Hey, man, just enjoy the moment. Don't worry about looking too far in the future. Don't worry about thinking too much about the past. Just be here, right? Take it all in, because it's not going to come again. Think about your senses. Think about what you're seeing, what you're smelling, what you're touching, what you're feeling, right? What you're hearing. And an awesome benefit to that is, to a huge extent, you can only relive moments in your mind, right? You can play them, but they're never going to be the same as the first time. There are multiple psychology studies that show that the first time when we experience something, and then the second time when we think about it, it is never the same again. So if you've thought about something 15 times, every time it is slightly different. It's just the memory consolidation when your brain stores that. So you get information, you process it, you store it somewhere, and for whatever reason, whenever you retrieve it, after every retrieval, you forget something. Something gets added in. Something gets a little exaggerated. Subconsciously, you don't do it on purpose, but for whatever reason, we can't retrieve it 100% the way that we first saw it. So there's a lot of emphasis going, hey man, just be present, be in the moment. Now, one thing that I am very guilty of, one thing that I'm working on, is it's super easy for me to not be here. What I mean by that is I'll be on the bus. Instead of just looking out at the driver, looking out at the trees, it's super easy for me to just think about, okay, plan out my day ahead. Like I'm envisioning things. I'm envisioning myself going to class, going home, making videos, editing, eating food, doing this, going out with it. Like I see it, right? I see it before it happens. And I'm thinking about what I want to do. And you could argue I'm not really presently there. Now, personally, I'm a big fan of visualization. So I like thinking about things beforehand. I like seeing them before they happen. And one of the negatives to that, unfortunately, is when you're not present in the moment, I found myself being a little bit slow to adjust to the present situation. For example, something can happen where, I'm just trying to think off the top of my head. Let's say I go on the wrong bus for whatever reason. And it's because at those very few seconds where I'm going on the bus, I'm already thinking ahead of, okay, when I get here, I'm going to say this to this person. I'm going to make sure I shake that person's hand, that I'm not there in the present moment. Whereas anyone who is would be like, oh, this isn't my bus, that's my bus. So I think it's really this balance of, being in the present, taking in these moments. However, still being mindful of this idea of, it's still good to think ahead. In my opinion, anyways, it's good to think ahead. It's good to have an idea, have sort of a plan of what your day is going to look like. And furthermore, we're talking about not being present. You can either look forward or you can even look backwards. So one thing that I'll also do is I like to look back on situations, for better or for worse. Sometimes you're in a negative situation and that happened, let's say, last night, 2 days ago, that didn't feel too amazing. One thing that we do is that we replay those in our minds, right? We go, oh man, that was so embarrassing when I did this, or when she said this, I should have said that, right? And we just pound ourselves in for no reason. Now, on the flip side of it is we can do the same thing with positive things. If I go have a presentation that goes well and everyone's clapping, and I feel that rush and that excitement, 100%, a couple of days afterwards, I can be sitting down somewhere doing homework, and I'll remember that event, and I'll feel good, and I'll try to picture where I was and where the stage was, and I feel amazing. And it gives me a little bit of that same energy, just a little bit of what it was really being up on stage. And it makes me feel good. It makes me feel happy. That is great in the sense of we had a good time, we had a good past. But now the negative with that is if you're always thinking about the past, it's, it'd be a shame if you were to miss the moments that are right in front of you. And when I'm saying this, I'm 50%, I'm talking to anyone who's watching this or hearing this, and another 50%, I'm really talking to myself. Because this is something that I'm working on. There are times when I'm in situations where now I've gotten so into this idea of just sitting there and I can just go into thought. I can go into, and just start for an hour. I can just start thinking about different things. Like Daniel, just be in the present. Just take this in. Don't think about different, just listen. What is this person saying? Really, really listen. Don't think about what you're going to say as a rebuttal. Just listen. Do not say anything. Just be there. Be in the moment. I really think that there are pros to both. I really think that there's cons to both. As always, I'm a big advocate of moderation. I think it's important to be present, but I don't think that there's anything wrong with, looking back at the good old days or, thinking ahead a little bit, trying to plan something out. But again, for me, my friends, the hard thing for me has always been to go, okay, if we're talking about in a ratio, man, I might be in the present 40%, I might be in my head 60%. What I'd like to move to is 50-50. And the best way to do that, if you're in the same boat that I am, I think, my friends, just conscious reminders. So doing things like this, just hearing my own voice, hearing other people's voices, so then when I'm sitting down and I'm about to start thinking about memories or I'm about to start thinking ahead, I go, oh, hey, Daniel, remember? This is the thing that we're trying to change. And in that moment, I can catch myself and just try to stay in the present. How do we stay in the present? I would highly recommend, my friends, get in touch with your five senses. So start seeing, oh, what is that? Okay, that's a tree. That's a person walking their dog. Am I cold right now? How do I feel? Okay, I'm sitting down. Okay, this is pretty soft. This chair is pretty comfortable. So when you come into, into conscious awareness of your senses, it can really keep you grounded. It can keep you in the situation, how you feel, what you smell, what's going on, and really taking in the environment around you. So that would be my case too, if you are too much on the thinking side, or you can be a little bit more in the present side. Now, I'm curious for anyone watching this or hearing this, are you more one way or the other? Would you say you're 50-50, that you're in the present half the time and in your head the other? Or maybe you're present 80-90% of the time and rarely ever in your head. Like you're rarely ever sitting there and just thinking and just reflecting. So let me know, my friends. I'm 100% curious to know what's going on and what's on your mind.